Hey there, fellow anglers. Today we're diving into the world of winter bass fishing. We're going to brave the wind chills and see if we can catch a winter bass. Let's dive in. Alright guys, so first we're going to talk about what the bass behavior is in the winter. So in the winter, bass fish, their metabolism slows down a whole bunch. So they become really lethargic. They don't feed as much. So the bites are far and few in between. So just remember, bass slow down a lot in the winter, but there's still fish out there to be caught, guys. The next thing you want to do is you're going to want to move out deep. There's still some bass you can find up shallow, but you're going to have to try to find some deeper water, and that's relative to whatever lake you're fishing. Some parts of the country can be 10 foot, other parts of the country could be up to 40, 50 feet plus. So just whatever the deeper water is in your lake, that's kind of where you want to stay around. And the next thing is you want to find deep water with some cover on it. So you could have submerged grass way down there. You could have rocks, boulders, submerged like tree trunks that fell into the water during the year. You could also even have like sunken boats. I know this particular lake here, when I was doing it on Google Earth, I saw there's a sunken boat on the other side of this lake, but that's a whole nother video for structure. Just remember, structure wise, trees, grass, rocks, docks, anything like that in deeper water, or where the fish can actually access deeper water rather quickly. I actually chose this part of the lake today that we came to fish just because the bank and everything is right around that 5 to 6 foot mark, and then it quickly drops off and it tapers down into that 12 to 20 foot actually, and then down in the center where the kind of the creek channel runs in, it's about 30 feet. So this kind of tapers off pretty quickly and goes into deep water, so that's another thing you want to look for. Another thing is, a lot of people don't pay attention, but like here in Oklahoma, our lakes they can get really nasty, especially after rains. They can get really dirty. You want to find clean water, guys, not as muddy water. You want to find a little bit clear water. If your lake is clear, you don't have to worry about that. But in general, the top side of the lake will be more muddy because that's where the water runs into it. Usually the side with a dam, that will be the clearest water that you can find on the lake. So with that being said, now you know what they do and where they try to go and what you need to look for. Once you figure that out, we're gonna go ahead and move on to step 2, and that is fishing techniques, guys. All right, guys, so as far as fishing technique goes, you kind of have 2 different ways you can go in the winter, and it's really all year round, but basically in the winter, these baits outshine the rest. You could either go slow and finesse, or you can go slow but reaction strike. And what I mean by that, I will show you my favorite rig for the winter. Everybody knows this. Is a drop shot. This thing, drop it out there, you drag it across, you know, that shallow bank, and right where it drops off, you just let it drop off slowly. A lot of times those bass will pick up that drop shot then. Work this extremely slow, guys. The next thing you'll have is another one of my favorites, but I don't really fish this a lot. This one here is a 3/8 ounce Grass Hero jig from Guggen Baits, and I just threw a grub. You don't want to put, if you're going to put trailers, don't put anything on the end of these jigs that has a lot of motion. It's not realistic in the winter, guys. Everything slows down in the winter. These bass know that. Do not do that, anything fast or a lot of motion. They'll just shy away from that. So I just put a little grub. These little grubs don't have too much of motion in the winter. And like I said, these, you can drag along the bottom, cast this into rock, weeds, whatever you're going to cast into, and then just drag it along. If you feel a rock, just bump it a little bit, kind of drag it over. You could do a couple hops, but just remember, slower is better, guys. Slower is better. Like right now, my brother, he's actually fishing really good structure that I want to fish, but I'll show you that, guys, that structure in a little bit. So now that we got the jig out of the way, one of my favorite lures to use in the winter is a jerk bait, because I sometimes get bored of going slow. You can go deep diving jerk baits, shallow diving jerk baits. I try to run mine right around the 12, 15 foot mark. So I try to find those ledges out in the water where it drops from like 6 foot down to like 15, and I fish it in that area. And when you jerk these, you don't want to move super fast unless your water is a little bit warmer than usual. Like if it's in the 45s up to the 55s, you can fish these a little bit faster. Water right now where we're at, it's 38 degrees. Here in Oklahoma, we just had a freeze. This lake was frozen over. Our river is frozen over. Still to the moment. This lake actually thawed out, so I was like, you know what, let's go try that lake and see if we can land anything for them. But in general, jerkbait, guys. Suspending jerkbaits, there are so many on the market. I would recommend the KVD ones, or if you're willing to drop the money, just go ahead and get a Vision 110. That is one of my favorite jerk baits, the way it suspends and everything. Also in the winter, natural colors, clears, bone colors, you know, greens, things like that. Try not to go anything too flashy, guys. Just so you guys know. And what you're trying to do with the jerkbait is obviously you're going after that reaction strike. You're not going after that slower strike, that slower presentation to try to get some of those subtle bites, guys. So just keep that in mind. A lot of times the ones that will hit the jerkbaits will be smaller bass. But just remember, in the winter, those bass actually tend to hug up and kind of come together, and so they're more of a school during the winter months. So if you find one, chances are there's probably a couple more down there. Keep casting. Don't get bored of it. Just keep on trying, guys. Next, I'll show you guys a little bit of this cover that my brother is fishing, so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So if you look out here, right out there, there's a little bit of, you can see the tops of some tree trunks there. Everything else is grass. All this in the summer, I guarantee it grows out super tall out here. But then you got like these, I guess, cages protecting some of these trees way back in here. Let's see if I can get her to focus. And he's fishing pretty much every single one of these little cages and just going around. Out here in this side, you can see how that bank kind of drops off. So if you don't have a fish finder, look for your steeper looking banks, and that gives you an idea. Most of the time that also kind of continues on forward into the water. So if that drops off pretty steep there, chances are out here you'll drop off pretty fast into the water. Right now we're at 5 foot. Basically look 6 foot there. Water temperature is 38 degrees. But if we go out, literally like right out here, that water temperature stays around the same, but the depth jumps down further. So we're just gonna fish all this. I'm gonna try to turn you slowly, see if I can show you the other bank over there. I'm assuming y'all see that white spot down there? That's all rock. We're definitely fishing rock. And right over here, there's a little bit of more stick sticking out of the water right there. So look for all that cover, guys. That is what bass are going to relate to. Do not underestimate docks, trust me. Guys, so as far as bait selection goes, remember, stick natural colors, stick to baits that mimic the natural bait selection of the bass. So whether that be threadfin shad, just regular shad, you got all sorts of different things that your bass can be feeding on, minnows, anything like that. Crawfish for sure, if your lake has a lot of crawfish. If you have rocks, crawfish, no doubt. Jigs, anything like that, and stay natural. And you want to minimize baits with wider movements, such as square bills, you know, like topwater guys, a lot of things like that with a whole bunch of motion and commotion. You just want to cut that out and go more natural. Trust me, guys, there'll be slower bites, but the ones you get can be very, very rewarding. Another thing I like about fishing in the winter, we're the only soul out here on the water right now, guys. Glass day, only soul out on the water. So a lot of times you will get pretty much the lake to yourselves, guys. You can go out there, have fun, graph everything the way you want it, and just keep on fishing. We got another step next, and I'll show you guys what to do. All right, guys. Remember, in the winter, patience is the key. Patience and persistence will play a long part of if you're successful or not. So remember, be very patient. Those bites may be very far and few in between, but a lot of the times it can be very, very rewarding, guys. Bundle up, get comfortable, get out there, and get ready to brave some of those chill weathers. Obviously, be smart about it. If the lake conditions are dangerous, just don't go out there, guys. Things like that, but patience, persistence, everything is key. Now, like I said, just bundle up, be warm. Wool socks will save you a long ways. Gloves, face shields, things like that if it gets windy on your lake. Nice cup of coffee. Listen, just be out there, comfortable, have fun is the most important thing, guys. The second you stop having fun, that's when it gets worse. So besides that, I'm just gonna kind of go around. We're gonna troll around this arm of this lake here for a little bit, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get some video footage of me just kind of demonstrating the techniques of what I'm using. I got a drop shot, the jig, and the jerk bait, and I'll kind of just put a little bit of the clips of that, and if I catch something, I'll show you guys. But for now, I'll get to fishing. I'll record some clips for you guys, and let's see if we get any luck out of here. All right, guys. So first off, I'm gonna start off with the jig. Obviously, we're fishing all this structure over here on the side. If you want to show them what we're fishing, there's not a lot. There's a lot of grass up on the bank, but there's a lot of submerged vegetation. Basically, what you want to do is you're gonna grab your lure, your jig. You're gonna cast it out there, guys. Just let it hit the bottom. And what I always like to do with these is I literally like to let it hit the bottom, and I want to slow crank it like this, and then you will start feeling the bottom. I want to hit every single thing that is down there, all of it. That's what I want to do. So fish it very slow, guys. Remember, these fish aren't going to be crazy active trying to feed on everything. Give it a couple hops, pause it, leave it alone. Another thing you want to focus on is trying to find the bait fish on your fish finder if you do have one. Balls of shad, you want to find that. A lot of times the bass will be suspended underneath it, especially in the winter times, guys. Just want to fish slowly. So that's kind of the technique that I use with the jig. I won't really hop it a lot, guys. In the summer, you'll catch me going, you know, like this, cranking down, hopping it like that. Not really what I like to do in the winter. In the winter, I basically just drag it painfully slow, guys. That's why I said wear gloves, because if it's really cold and windy, guys, the gloves will help you on this. Right there, I could feel I'm hitting rock, definitely, but it's more of a mushy bottom right now, so it's like mud, but it is definitely, there's some rock in there. So let me crank this up so that we can get this clip over with on this style of fishing here. All right, guys, so next we're gonna show you how to kind of fish this jerkbait, guys. This, you can fish it around cover. You don't have to, guys. What I do is I'll throw it out there, give it a couple cranks kind of fast, gets it down there, and then I just sit there and I'll give it one quick. This jerkbait is a suspending one, so it's not gonna float. If you have a floating one, it's gonna be a lot harder for you. And a lot of times this winter fish won't really bite this too much. Let's give it another quick one, and then you want to pause it. You leave it paused, guys. So that's all you want to do. You just want to give it a couple of jerks in between, let it sit. When it suspends, a lot of time that bass will come up to it, kind of see what's going on with it. Give it another jerk, and that bass will lash out just at a straight reaction. So that's a very good one. This is a deep diving jerkbait, so like I could throw it way out there in the deeper part of the lake where we're at. Cast it out, crank it in a little bit. There's one. And I just wait, literally, that's all I do. Also, if you're using fluorocarbon, if you go on a lower pound test, that jerkbait can get down deeper, guys, just so you guys know. And this is all you want to do. I'm probably working it too fast, honestly. A lot of times we'll just do one twitch and you'll hold it for like 30 seconds, guys. I'm not that patient sometimes, so I won't be doing that. But I just wanted you guys to get an idea of what it does. So that'll be the jerkbait, and then I'll show you guys the drop shot. The drop shot is pretty easy. And the way I use it is basically like, I just use it as throw it out there and just let it soak for a while. Get that drop shot weight loose there. I'm not even gonna change the plastic, but obviously I wouldn't want to be throwing this bright green when you want to go more of a natural color, guys. So for this, throw it out there. Just hold it, guys, and all you're gonna do is literally I will do this. Like if the wind pushes us that way, that's what I let it do. I'll open up my bell sometimes to just give it more time for the bait or the lure to reach the bottom. And this is what I do, guys. I just sit here. You'll crank in slowly, you'll drag that weight around, but this is such a slow style of fishing that I just do this. And you want to watch the tip of your rod, because a lot of times those fish will come up to it and it'll just load up on its own, and the next thing you know, you'll see your line start darting off, and that's how you know you have a fish, guys. Anyways, guys, I hope those techniques helped you out, you know, just watching me do it. And like I said, go out there and practice it a lot and figure out what works for you, what works best for you. Me and my brother are gonna keep on fishing here for a while, and if we catch something, I'll definitely show you guys at the end of the video. All right, guys, so we didn't catch any fish the other day while we were out fishing on the lake, but I will put some clips here so you guys can see some of the fish that I have caught in the past using all of these tips and techniques that I have showed you guys and talked about in the video. Like I said, in the winter, those bites are tough, but the ones you do get can be very rewarding. Now, keep in mind, sometimes it will be just little dinks and little tiny fish that are out there just hungry and are trying to eat anything that they can get their hands on. Like I said, just keep out there, consistency, and just be very patient. Remember, if you stop having fun, just go home and relax, do something else. You always want to be having fun when you're out there, guys. Anyways, hopefully you enjoy these next 2-3 clips that I'm going to post on here. For me, the wind had kind of picked up, so it was go, guys. Here we go, guys. I got one, guys. Check that out. Nice hook set right at the top of the mouth, the dream shot. And until next time, thank you guys for watching. Tight lines, y'all keep on fishing. And if you guys have any winter fishing story that you guys want to share with me or the community, go ahead and post that down in the comments down below. Any extra tips or anything like that I may have missed in this video, go ahead and post that down below in the comments so that anybody that watches the video can look at the comments and also take your tips into account, guys. Anyways, keep on fishing, tight lines. Hopefully you guys catch your PB.